Hi everybody, David Brewer here with your Brewers Bullets in advance of week 2. These are the 3 things we need to be thinking about from last week, this week, and a look ahead. And on this President's Day, my kids didn't have school, so I'm at my son's Ultimate Frisbee practice recording this Brewers Bullets live from the East Wing. I don't qualify for the West Wing, I have to be in the East Wing. So let's get to it. The 3 things we need to be thinking about. Number 1, looking back at this past week, really enjoyed the dialogue about the poverty cure videos and some of the journal articles you started reading. One quick comment from the dialogue forum is I want to encourage you as you go through this course to not just think about the concepts of international business, but to really enter in. There will be a lot of learning benefit, not just with intellectually or thoughtfully going through these things, but also letting it affect you in the inside, in the heart, in the spirit. I was encouraged that a few of you said, whoa, this was a new idea to me. The idea that aid could be harmful, even neutral. I always thought it was beneficial, and I encourage you to press in with that, to keep rethinking what it is that I've learned or that I've practiced before in my life, and what is my learning now changing. You don't need to be afraid of that or shy away from that. This is learning. I mean, that's what we're here in this course for. So keep entering into that. Another touch there on what we talked about last week. I'll refer back to this numerous times as we go through the course, that I want us to keep thinking about my individual response, especially as a follower of Jesus, but even as an individual person, an individual employee or employer or owner of a business. That's often a different response than I'll have to a company response, a business or organizational response, which again will be different from a government response. Governments have different responsibilities than businesses, than individuals. And so I'll be drawing our attention to that distinction, especially when we get into ethical dilemmas, when we get into appropriate practices, things like that. I want us to be thinking about that and aware of that as we go through the course. But really good start with the dialogue. Encourage you, remember to post your initial post by Wednesday night at the latest. The biggest advantage there is then it gives people a couple of days to read and process and feedback, and the real learning happens when we start dialoguing and asking each other questions. Oh, I really like this thing that you said. What do you think about this? That's where a lot of the learning happens. So I encourage you in each of your response posts to your classmates to ask an additional question, probe a little bit deeper. So that's bullet number 1. Bullet number 2, this week we get into ethical dilemmas. So international business and concepts of cross-cultural business, multinationals, etc. You have your main assignment this week is an ethical dilemma paper. Something happens, you put yourself in that role, and then in your paper, make sure you have to do 2 things. The first thing is make sure that you choose one of the philosophical or ethical frameworks that you'll be reading about this week and apply that to the case. Right? So the goal is not for you to evaluate which ethical framework is best or worst for understanding. It's for you to be the person in the case, choose one of those ethical frameworks, and explain how that behavior happened and what happened in the situation. The second part of your paper is, again, you are in this role, and now you need to propose how can you satisfy the company and keep your job. How do you do both of those things? That's your main ethical dilemma, your essay, your main assignment for this week. Really good thing to focus in on processing the stuff that you're hearing in a real life situation. Third bullet, looking ahead. You all, I believe now, have your topic for your week 4 presentations. The course sort of builds up to that presentation and then from there moves on to the second half of the course. That's sort of the linchpin, the hinge of the course, is that full presentation on a topic, international business. I strongly recommend starting to do some thinking and some research this week. Identify your sources, start pulling data, start crafting things, because you'll need to turn in a recorded presentation, a PowerPoint presentation. So you'll have to understand the content sufficient to make an attractive, appealing PowerPoint presentation and get the technology to record yourself so that your classmates can watch it. Because we will all get to watch that, and then people's assignment in week 4 will be to respond, the written response, to at least 2 people's presentations. So start working now on your presentation. Just chip away at it a little bit, once or twice a week for the next couple of weeks. Write a little bit, find a couple of sources, etc., so that it doesn't become so huge. Any questions, any comments, email me at my Spring Arbor email address or text me 503-422-1736. Be glad to talk to you at any time. I've been very encouraged that several of you have already texted me with questions. Keep it up. That way we make sure we're on the right path and we're on the same page for doing your assignments and maximizing your learning. Thanks so much. Have a great week, and I'll see you online.